I want to thank all of you for coming. My name is Phyllis Harrison Ross, and I am a trustee here at the New York Society for Ethical Culture, and I chair our Social Service Board. Ethical culture is, in fact, a religious institution, and it is one that dates back to 1876 when Dr. Felix Adler first founded it. And this building is celebrating its 100th anniversary of being built next year, so hoping that all of you will join us. The Social Service Board is very proud to collaborate with other organizations to bring not only interesting but important, vital kinds of programs to the society and to the city, dare say to the world. We at the Social Service Board conduct major and socially important conferences with our collaborators that facilitate and move forward the social agenda of our city and our nation. In 2009, our Circles of Healing Conference about strengthening the relationships of clergy and psychiatry working together in ways not yet utilized was a major success.
For many clergy, many religious leaders, we do not have the training. We do not have the training in mental health sufficient to help someone that's explored and experienced a major trauma. So there becomes a work right there for psychiatry to work with clergy to get us at least the basic training, given that if people come to clergy first, then we ought to be a triage center.
I think we need to crack open a little bit more that definition of spirituality and understand that it's not necessarily bound to a particular creed, dogma, or theology, but also it has to do with how we see ourselves in our community, and how we see ourselves with respect to that which is larger than ourselves.
It takes a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village to eliminate disparities. And I might add that it also takes a village to help people who have been affected by trauma, disaster, displacement, to recover, to heal, and to experience resilience.
In 2003, we brought together the New York State, city, and political collaborators into a conference that allowed the U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. David Satcher, to debut his major report on healthcare disparities, bridging the gap and making the connections. Introduced at the conference was the uses of telepsychiatry technologies, which spearheaded the developing collaboration of the Social Service Board and the Osborne Association of New York.
My name is Jim Stone, and I'm Commissioner of Mental Health for New York State and one of the sponsors of this conference. This is a very important conference as far as I'm concerned, and long overdue. I think it will serve a lot to raise the consciousness of people in the community about the importance of addressing issues of importance to the African American community. Bridging the gap and making the connection is important because Dr. Satcher's report, and I'm thrilled that he's presenting here today, really outlines how the African American community has been left behind in some of the advances in psychiatry over the last few decades.
In our reports, when I was Surgeon General, we tried to highlight mental health as a very important area of health that was often neglected, and to point out that mental disorders, because of stigma, are often not attended to. And so it is really imperative that we train more mental health professionals who are African Americans and other minorities, and that we pay attention to the unique cultural challenges involved in mental health for African Americans and other minorities.
Bridging the gap, making the connections allows agencies, mental health agencies, practitioners, parents, children, families, consumers to interface with each other, interact, have a sense of the issues that that we're dealing with, and gives voice to everyone's concern.
2011 Nobel Peace Prize laureate President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia was the guest of the New York Society and the Social Service Board at a joint fundraiser for the board and the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund in 2008. The week prior to President Sirleaf's event, Dr. Thelma Aware hosted a viewing of the film Iron Ladies of Liberia and gave an address where she was able to give an overview of the fund's goals to increase the number of women's markets in Liberia.
It's been tough for some of the men who really, I'm not sure if it's because she's a woman or it's because they want to have that seat, because there are things they want to get from that seat. And they want it. It's just a pure fight for power. And what I like about Ellen is that as a woman, she's not frightened to fight for power. She's not frightened of power.
At the third Heroes of Healing event, Dr. Maria Friedman was honored for her work with our Homeless Women's Shelter and the Homeless Artists Program. Major speakers included Philip Mangano, Executive Director of the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness, and Robert Hess, New York City Commissioner of the Department of Homeless Services. The conference honored the citywide homeless shelters, as well as the volunteers and agencies and religious institutions for their programs and advocacy efforts on behalf of the increasing number of homeless persons in New York City.
Just in the last 2 years, the number of people sleeping on the streets of the city has declined by over 15%, in large part because of the work that each of you do. Over 300 individuals each night sleep in the safety and with volunteers in churches and synagogues across this city, and we thank you for that. We need to do more.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That's what's so brilliant every time we meet someone who was once homeless and who no longer is, because they're living out that substance. They bear evidence.
Since its beginning in 1982, the Women's Shelter has been administered by the Social Service Board, who developed an association with the Partnership for the Homeless, the Antonio Olivieri Center, and New York City. Dr. Maria Friedman, our board shelter director, coordinates the selfless volunteers who oversee the sleeping arrangements for the women. Our shelter area consists of a warm dormitory and all the basic necessities of a normal home. For 32 years, we are proud to be a part of this partnership that cares for and nurtures women, and women who are without a home, and giving them the caring support to gather up their lives again while they find employment and a new home. One of the board's major goals has been providing funding for children's soccer teams playing in Queens. Board member Henry Bunch, who is also the president of Team La Liga, has been coordinating these efforts for boys and girls teams playing outdoors in the summer and indoors in the winter. Most come from underprivileged homes. They not only play but learn discipline and leadership skills. The majority of the players are from Latino countries, and they also participate in the annual World Peace Games. The Social Service Board sponsorship is part of our main mission to aid and support the lives of children. Every year, the Social Service Board's Grants and Scholarship Committee in partnership with the Puerto Rican Family Institute, arranges this child's dream come true. What could be more wonderful for an inner city kid than spending summer weeks in a horse camp in Maine? Our grants have also provided library expansion to the Northside Center for Child Development, as well as scholastic funds to children of incarcerated parents through the Osborne Association of New York. We have also given scholarship grants to children attending the East Harlem School. In 1989, the Social Service Board initiated the Supervised Visitation Project. For 22 years, we have provided visitation services for children and their non-custodial parents. In 2012, we are proud to be evolving the SVP project into a televisiting project. Using modern technology and in partnership with the Osborne Association, we will be providing televised visiting services between children and their incarcerated parent. In many cases, this will alleviate the extreme burden of children traveling hundreds of miles to visit their parent, and also protecting the child from a very traumatic environment. Founded in 1992 by attorneys Barry Schecht and Peter Neufeld, the Innocence Project provides pro bono post-conviction legal assistance to persons whose claims of innocence might be proven through the modern science of DNA testing. It has freed over 225 people through DNA testing, 15 of whom were on death row. We at the Society and the Board have been able to finance many tests in order to exonerate innocent victims. The Social Service Board is a founding member of the All Healers Mental Health Alliance, AMHA, a group of psychiatrists, clergy, and other mental health professionals who organize long-term responses to the mental health needs of disasters such as the World Trade Center, Hurricane Katrina, the Haitian earthquake, and the BP oil spill. To aid those people of the Gulf Coast, we have discovered such poverty that we've agreed to aid those afflicted by what we are calling Poverty in America, the Silent Disaster. Ethical culture leader Kurt Collier, along with other society members, have also aided AMHA in helping poor Black and Vietnamese fishermen of Louisiana after the BP oil spill by collecting donations, buying equipment and supplies, and delivering them personally to the fishermen. We were asked by the American Red Cross to write a chapter for their soon-to-be-published updated disaster manual. We have also underwritten the work of an indigenous videographer, Antoinette Harold, in documenting the plight of poor fishermen in the Gulf region. This video was presented to media, politicians, and other interested parties in 2011 at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C.
Now you're sitting here with your Bible.
Right.
This is your home?
Right. No electricity, no lights. This is where I'm staying right now.
Senior citizens are the fastest growing demographic part of our population, with people over 100 years the fastest. Empowering Ethical Elders is an expansive program of twice-monthly presentations, bringing experts to the service of seniors, family caregivers, and the general public to promote physical, mental, and emotional health through the empowerment of knowledge. The program also provides support, social workers, and senior exercise trainers who are available for consultation. Another major senior program has been the creating of emotionally uplifting greeting cards to be distributed to senior shut-ins. In our beginning, Social Service Board members were required to be licensed social workers. We have since opened the board to include all concerned members of our society who desire to put their ethics into action. You don't even need to be a member of the Society for Ethical Culture. You only need the willingness to work for the benefit and social needs of children and our society in general. If you have an idea, bring it to us. If you know a way to increase our funding, come on board. You can join the Social Service Board, or you can become a friend of the board. For further information on how to get active, consult our webpage. I'd like to leave you with this final thought. It's people like you who share our faith in the future, people who see the need to give social service and put ethics into action, fulfilling the challenging need of our times. Help us to build a more ethical world.